Hi, I'm Kelly Hurt and welcome to the latest Land Doctors Update. If you can see behind me here, we're going up with the house. Today we're actually setting the trusses with the crane, and we're finishing up the barn at the same time. So let's go in and take a little look around. So right now what we're doing is we're just dragging the trusses from our pile over here. We've got the crane truck. We've got this gentleman here working the tail of the rafter to control it. We've got quite a bit of wind today, so if you watch, part of the times the rafters sort of look like an airplane wing they're trying to spin around. But they're doing a good, safe job, and they're really moving quickly, which I appreciate because I want to get this thing up and dried in as fast as possible. So looks like we're about a third done already. These guys have only been working an hour and a half. So I fully expect that we're going to get all the trusses set today, and we've really got to get them braced well because we're supposed to have heavy thunderstorms tomorrow. So it's sort of urgent that we get this done. But let's go in and I want to show you the size of this house. It's really, really cool. It's got giant walls and a big ceiling on it. It's going to be impressive when it's finished. So one of the first things that jumps out to me about this room is the height of the walls. So these are 18-foot tall walls in this room. And then from there it slopes up into a cathedral ceiling. So the top of this thing is going to be about 26 feet off the ground. And I'm glad I'm not the one changing the light bulbs, but it's going to be impressive when it's done. So this is going to be a large living room where I'm standing now with a big fireplace and the big picture windows, and then this entire wall will be filled with windows. And the reason for that is we're on top of a really nice ridge here. You've got great sunset views, and so we wanted to have as much exposure to that as we could, even when you're inside. So we wanted to maximize the view. And it's really going to be, I don't know, it's going to be so sweet when it's done, because you'll be able to sit up here and see for miles. And right here, we're a mile from the county road. So the driveway is a mile long. So it's like you're in the middle of nothing out here, but you're still pretty close to the metro area. So I love that about it as well. Now, in that corner, we'll have the kitchen, and then we'll have a dining room here. And then out back, you'll have another full-length porch that's 14 feet wide, 66 feet long. And then that room, just behind the front entry in the foyer, will be a game room. And then we'll have a utility room, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths downstairs. I'm sorry, 3 baths downstairs. And then upstairs is going to be a nice big loft so that when they have company, there'll be plenty of room for everyone to stay and not be, running into each other. So let's walk upstairs and see if we can watch these guys set a few of these trusses. So all along the top of this thing, it's got on a regular interval or spacing. I have these nice big windows. These are going to be casement windows where you can open them. And if you look out, you get a feel for the view that they'll have from up here. Pretty cool. So now, basically today these guys are just going to run and gun and get all these stuck together as quickly as they can, tie everything together. But we can also go over, we can look at the barn and see what's going on there because they've almost got that finished also. So let's head that way now. Do you smell that? That's fresh lumber, and it smells wonderful. Once that gets in your blood, it's hard to ever get it out. This is so exciting. Oh, since it's Oklahoma, we built a concrete above ground safe room so that we just basically turned one of the closets into a concrete safe room. So if the family is concerned and they need to seek shelter, they don't have to go outside or any of that stuff. They can just go into one of the bedrooms and go into the safe room. So an interesting note about the house, the design of the house, is that we were drawing things up, and one night the owners, Steve and Kelly, saw what they wanted. They saw their dream home on TV. So they paused the TV, they took a picture of it with their iPhone and texted that to me, and this is from that one little picture we took that picture and we went from there with it. We got our drafting guy involved, and we were able to basically recreate the outside look and then, cut the inside up the way that they wanted it. So it's sort of an interesting way to come up with a design, but it really works to do it that way. And that to me is the fun thing, is taking all of these different kinds of information, whether it's the geotech borings or a picture off of somebody's TV screen, and come out here and actually be able to put all this together and create that vision, make that vision come to life out here and have the physical structure that they want at the end. And it is, I don't know, it's so much fun. I hope you enjoy your work as much as I do, because this is great. So with the house having that, I would call it almost a Colorado skiing lodge look, with all of the big walls, the exposed lumber, the big timber, the big beams, all the rock. They didn't want a barn that was bright red and looked like a neon light standing next to all of the natural sort of subtle tones of the house. So they went with more muted colors here of rustic red and then a smoky pewter. And you can see they're just finishing up the sliding doors on the building, so we can go inside and actually walk around. But before we do that, a couple of notes. The roof is actually a standing seam roof, and it is attached with concealed fasteners. And it'll be the same roof on the house as well. So we'll have both of the roof lines will match, same color, same theme. Only difference, we'll have the rustic red on this. So let's go inside. Got your basic entry door on the front here with a little window over it for some natural light. This thing is going to have electricity, it's going to have water and sewer. It's already roughed out for all of that. And both the house and this building will have spray foam insulation in them. So it'll be very energy efficient. To put that standing seam or concealed fastener system on this metal frame, what we had to do is we had to deck it with wood and then attach it to that, because each one of those fasteners has to go into a fairly tight pattern up there to make sure that we don't have any movement on the roof. Now, with it attached like it is, it should be very sturdy, should never have any issues with it. With no exposed fasteners, there's no rubber washers or anything like that to degrade where you'll have leak problems. This is basically just going to be a large storage building for all the toys, but this end's going to be a little interesting. Behind this wall, the property goes, in part, a half a mile, some places 3/4 of a mile on in that direction. A lot of great cover for the wildlife there, and I actually, typically see deer crossing this meadow behind here. So when we frame in this little room here for the toilet and the sink, and maybe even a little hot water heater or something, and have our breaker box in there, on the top deck of that, we're going to build a hunting stand and a shooting bench, so that if it's a cold, rainy day and nobody wants to go to the stand, they can just come in here, enjoy the comfort of the building, and just look out that little window and wait for a deer to come through. It's a pretty smart idea. Now, this is just a little bonus shed on the side, and this is just a place to put implements for the tractor and that sort of thing, keep them out of the weather. So this will all be gravelled, the approaches will all be gravelled in, and this thing will be buttoned up in short order. In this hole right here, we're going to have a standard rolling overhead door. So it'll just be an overhead door that comes down. Of course, that one is a sliding door. And they wanted that more for the look, for the old farmstead type style. So that's it for this part. Now we should go take a look at the food plot and the little pond that we dug. So there's our green field. We just barely cut the top off of it earlier this year just to get the weeds and everything off and get a good base, and work with owners. This was sort of a one of their own projects that they did themselves, but put a little electric fence around it with a little solar charger, and then planted some different whitetail mixes on it. So the deer are already hitting it. They've already killed one doe here during muzzleloader season. Now the one thing that this little spot had, it's got a great game trail that comes right out of the woods there. And so we had the food plot, we've got the big stand down there, but we didn't have any water. And so one day when we had a bulldozer out here, it probably took me an hour, but I just dug this little tank. And we were laughing about it and said, well, maybe it'll fill up by next year. Well, we had a 4-inch rain that night and we came back the next day and this thing was full. And what was really interesting is it already had fish in it. And I sort of followed the drainage back up the hill, and there was another pond up the hill that overflowed and washed some fish in it. So within 12 hours of digging this thing, it was full of water and it had fish in it. So I don't know, other pond builders are as good as I am, but I was pretty impressed with myself on that one. Dumb luck. But anyway, so we've got a great little food plot going here. So far, the deer have lots of pecans here, lots of acorns, lots of Mexican plums, and then the persimmons this year are huge. They look like little crab apples because we've had so much rain. So, the deer have really been hitting the native forage to this point, but the further we go into winter, the more of that stuff will be depleted and the more that the deer will start hitting this green field. So this, I think by deer gun season, will be hot. I expect them to kill a big buck here. I really do. They're on the place, and I just think that this will be with all of the cover around it, the game trails, the water, the feed, I think they'll be here. And I've got my fingers crossed for them. So you can already see the deer are in here, the deer tracks are in here. So they're in here eating already, which is a great thing. That's what we wanted. Well, the only other thing I know is I need to get back to work, and you probably do too, so I will sign off for now, but if you need any help with your property, give us a call. That's what we do. See you later.